I just hope everyone had a very Merry Christmas and enjoying a very happy holiday season that I hope continues for each and every one of you and your family. I just like to report having a 3-year-old granddaughter made Christmas special. Spirit of Santa Claus was alive and well, no doubt. So we're very excited about the opportunity that we have here to be in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. And we'd certainly like to thank all the people who work hard for this bowl game, especially Gary Stoken, who heads it all up and makes it happen, for doing a great job to host our team, as well as the city of Atlanta, which has always been a great host, for our team. I'm particularly proud of the fact that we have 21 graduates that are going to participate in this game, 3 guys that have master's degrees, and this is always something that we really emphasize with our players to develop a career off the field, and we're very, very proud of the success that we've been able to have in that regard. We had very good practice days back in Tuscaloosa, but now it's time for everybody to refocus and recenter on the things that we can control in terms of our mindset, our intensity, our sense of urgency, of how we pay attention to detail and practice here in Atlanta to get to where we can go out and execute against a very, very good Washington team and do the things that we need to do to have a chance to be successful. So that's going to start with us this afternoon, and hopefully our players will get right into it and we'll be ready to go. So we're looking forward to the opportunity and the challenge that our team has presented for us by having the opportunity to play in this playoff game.
All right, thanks, Coach. All right, we'll go ahead and open up for questions. Raise your hand. Okay, right here in the front. Yeah, just go ahead.
Okay, so how's Marlon Humphrey and Cam Robinson? How are those guys doing?
They're doing fine. They're doing well. They practice for the most part, the whole time. So we're encouraged by the progress that they've made, the practice that they've had, and the way they're going about their work to be able to participate and do a good job in this game.
Nick, this is the 3rd time for Alabama to be in the playoffs. You made the point that this is different because if you win the game, there's another game. It's like the NFL playoffs. What have you learned over the last couple of years? Does it impact your preparation at all, knowing there's another game if you win?
No, I think in the playoffs you're all in. You got to go 1-0 every week, or you're out. And I think the players have to understand that we need to do the very best job that we can to win this game. If we create an opportunity for ourselves to play another game, then we've got to recenter and refocus what we need to do in that particular game. So what I've learned about this game is your mindset of, is this a bowl game or is this a playoff game? Which I think every player has to decide for himself, every coach has to decide for himself, because we are trying to create a balance for everyone in our organization, because it is a playoff game.
Okay, over here.
Hey, how was Rashawn done the last couple of weeks? What have you seen from him in practice?
Sorry?
Hey, I said, what have you seen from Rashawn Evans?
Sean Evans has done a really good job. He's been a player that's played for us a lot, and when he's played well. And I think the additional repetitions that he got back home for the 7 practices that we had certainly has improved his confidence and his ability to execute on a consistent basis. And he's always been a guy that's very aggressive, fast, good tackler, good blitzer, gives us a little extra in pass rush at times. So this is a guy that can make a real positive contribution to the team, and we're looking forward, and our expectation is he'll play very well for us.
All right, please do speak up a little bit so everybody can hear your question. We'll go right here.
Coach, you lost a very productive, good player, Ryan Kelly, at center last year. Just wonder what you've seen from Bradley this year, how consistent he's been.
I think Bradley's one of the guys that, if you're going to have an unsung hero on your team, he would certainly be the guy that I would vote for, only because he had big shoes to fill, and he did a fantastic job, not only in his ability to execute at his position, but the confidence and the leadership that he provided in helping other players on the offensive line play extremely well by making the right calls and playing with confidence and focusing on what they needed to do and not worried about what they shouldn't be doing. So I think that's always important in being aggressive, and it's certainly important in being aggressive and physical in the offensive line. So I can't say enough about the good job that he's done for us all year long.
Dan?
Nick, going back to the mindset of bowl game or playoff game, what have you conveyed to like Bill Hancock and the CFP people about just a lot of the things they require from the teams this week? And have they made adjustments to accommodate those issues?
Well, yeah, we've made some comments about some of the things, but I think everyone is in agreement that we're trying to create a balance, for the players in terms of them having the proper time to focus on what they need to do to go play well because of the opportunity that they've created for themselves and still have somewhat of an experience from a bowl game standpoint that would not be too intrusive in terms of what they want to try to accomplish as a team. So everybody has been open about how we can all manage this the best for the players, and I think everybody's doing the best they can to try to, make that happen for the players.
Okay, right here.
Going off that, with how detailed their schedule is throughout the entire week, how important is it to keep, you talk about keep them loose, and whose job is it to keep them loose and make sure that they have time for themselves and not on that strict schedule?
Well, I think that the most important thing about all this is, what kind of mindset do you have? No different than any of us in terms of what we do or what you do. When you're focused and something's important to you, you sort of manage the circumstance that you're in, the distractions that you have. You find a way to make time for yourself so that you have quiet time, but you also find a way to be very focused and pay attention to detail when you need to so that you can do a good job because it's important to you. And I think if you have the right mindset, you can manage all these things because you don't look at them as distractions. You just look at them as opportunities, and you also look at it as an opportunity to refocus when you need to, and that's what we try to emphasize with our players.
Okay, great, thank you.
Nick, what are your impressions of number one for them?
Well, he's probably the best receiver we played against all year in terms of his production, the way he's used, the diversity that he has as a player. He's got great speed. He can get on top of people. He's a good run after the catch guy. So he's an outstanding player in every regard, and he's been very productive for them. And it's going to be important for us to do a really good job against him in this game because he makes a lot of explosive plays for them.
Okay, right here in the front, Coach.
Nick, how would you compare, you talked about handling distractions, handling the preparation leading into this game. How would you compare this year to the last 2 years, 14 and last year?
Well, I guess no matter how many press conferences that we have, and I say I don't want to make comparisons, and I say I don't want to answer hypothetical questions, you all continue to ask them, which I have respect for, I understand. So, look, I can't compare this year's team to anybody because we're still in the process of trying to accomplish something here. So to me, it's how we continue to do that that's most important. I would say there was a significant difference the last 2 years in how we managed this as a team, and I think it was reflective in the way that we played in the game. And I think our players on this year's team hopefully can use that background to help them do the right things in this particular game so that they have the best chance to be successful in this game.
Okay, right here in front.
Nick, we all see how good Ruben is as a player. What is it about his personality that makes him so well liked off the field with the coaches and his teammates? And what role do you think that plays in his leadership ability?
Well, I think to be a good leader, you obviously have to care about other people, and I think one of the things that makes Ruben a very popular guy from a personality standpoint is in a day and age when everybody's into selfies and what about me, he's a guy that is pretty interested in the relationships that he has and how he affects other people, and actually cares a lot about not just about how he does, how he plays, but also assumes the role of leadership and how he affects other people, and that comes to a large degree in how much you care about others. And I think that's one of the reasons that he's a very popular guy. He's got a great personality. I think a lot of people are attracted to him because of that, but I also think he's very caring in terms of what he's willing to do to help someone else.
Okay, right here.
With Jalen having gone through the bowl preparation last year, does that help him not be distracted by the bright lights of the big stage, do you think, this year?
I can't really answer that. I mean, you probably have to ask him that. As an incoming mid-semester player, he was allowed to practice with us in Tuscaloosa, but he didn't really go to the game and was not allowed to, practice when we got to the championship site. So I think probably more importantly, Jalen is going to be affected by the experience that he's gained, throughout this season in playing against some very good competition and some very difficult places to play. And the maturity that he's gained from that and the confidence that he's gained from that, I would think, are things that are going to be much more beneficial to how he handles this situation in being in this game.
Okay, Dan?
Nick, how much of what Washington does scheme-wise lends itself to their turnover margin being what it is?
Well, I don't think that their scheme on offense, they're certainly not conservative in any way, shape, or form. They've got great balance on offense. They are not conservative at all when it comes to taking shots, running trick plays. I think their turnover margin comes because they take great care of the football when they have it on offense, and their defense does a great job of reacting to the ball and ball hawking on defense. And the combination of those two things have put them in the position that they're in relative to their turnover margin.
All right, time for just a few more. We'll go right here next.
Kind of almost going back to that question about Jalen. Is it easier to coach players that have been there before because they're, experienced with everything in the playoff, or is it easier to coach maybe a player that hasn't been there because maybe the complacency doesn't sit in or anything like that?
Well, I think you're making assumptions either way. Just because a player's been there before doesn't mean that he's going to be complacent about being there again. And just because a player has not been there doesn't mean that he's not going to be focused in the right way in terms of what he needs to do to play well in this particular game. What we don't want to try to create with any player is think you got to be something that you're not. You got here because of who you are, the way you played, and the way you've competed. So you don't have to create a bunch of anxiety about thinking that you need to play better than you've ever played. And you don't need to be complacent or overly relaxed about, I'm not going to let this situation affect me. You got to be yourself, and you got to go out and compete in the game. The field's going to be 53 yards wide and 100 yards deep. I don't think they're changing any of that. They're not changing the markings on the field. What you have to do to execute well, whether it's block properly, tackle properly, catch the ball, throw the ball, those things really aren't going to change relative to the fact that you're in a playoff game, a bowl game, playing the first game of the season, or trying to finish the season so you have an opportunity to play in the SEC championship game. So, and I think it's important that players understand that. I know from, a fan perspective, the significance of these kinds of games create tremendous emotion and anxiety, but as competitors and players, we're hopeful that that doesn't happen.
I know this is kind of a different kind of question, but how, using defensive linemen, big guys in the backfield of goal line situations, how is that kind of involved? Is that just something not everybody has a 250-pound fullback anymore on the roster?
Well, we don't have one. So we have historically, way back to Cody or whoever it's been, created an opportunity or a situation where we have a bigger athletic guy that can be a good lead blocker. That gives us a little better chance to create movement, you know, when you need a yard or so. And the two guys that we've used this year have done a really good job for us. So if it can create an advantage, it's something that I think we need to do, because we don't have, when you play spread style, you don't have as many tight ends, you don't have a fullback, you don't have as many role players that fit those types of roles. So when you can manufacture those from other positions, I think it's very helpful.
All right, last question. Over here. Yep.
What have you seen on tape from Washington secondary, just overall, and how talented are you?
Well, they're very good. You know, they got length at corner. They're very good cover guys. I think the scheme that they play, they don't make a lot of mistakes. They're sort of a little bit Seattle Seahawk-like in the fact that we're going to do what we do, and we're going to do it really, really well. They do a great job of executing the things that they play. They do a great job of breaking on the ball, reading the quarterback's eyes, and that's why they have made a lot of plays on the ball, in my opinion. And, you know, they tackle well, they run support well, and they execute what they do extremely well. So, and I think that's what makes them a very effective unit.